Good day everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about another lesson on writing your research. So today's episode will be about how to write a review of related literature. Natakal ko na ito sa isa kong video na nandito rin, na na-upload ko rin dito. However, tingin ko yung isa hindi masyadong nadetalye kung paano sulatin ang review of related literature. Kung gusto nyong matuto kung paano isulat ito, stay tuned until the end. There are many misconceptions about writing a review of related literature. Pag sinabi natin misconceptions, ito yung mga haka-haka na hindi naman totoo. For example, some people thought it is enough to summarize related studies about their research topic and organize them according to what they have found. Meaning to say, ang pag-oorganisa ng kanilang review of related literature ay depende sa mga nakuha nilang studies. So, kumbaga, ang nakita ko nga sa isa kong estudyante noon na parang ang bawat paragraph ay tungkol lamang sa iisang study. So, ganito yung the way some students organize their review of related literature. Bawat paragraph ay tungkol lamang sa isang study na nakuha nila. Some even thought that they should include anything related even though these studies do not directly relate to their research. Alam naman natin na, 'di ba, ang mga professors or ang mga teachers handling research have a specific number of sources na nire-require sa bawat estudyante para sa kanilang RRL or para sa kanilang research in general. So may ibang students na basta parehas yung topic na pinag-uusapan, ini-include sa kanilang RRL, although the nature of the research is not directly related to their study. Others thought naman na this section should simply be a discussion of the findings of related studies. Kung makikita mo, may ibang mga RRL na mga students, especially beginners in research, na parang litany of result lang. So, dinidiscuss yung studies one at a time. Sa bawat paragraph, parang isang research lang or isang related literature lang ang pinag-uusapan. While some of the misconceptions already mentioned were somehow true to some extent, they are generally false. So if you want to know more about how to write a review of related literature, kung gusto nyong isulat ito ng tama or ayon sa expectations about what the chapter is all about, then watch this video till the end and I'll tell you why. A good review of related literature do not simply present related studies one at a time. Studies with similar findings can be combined. Do not write your RRL as if you are simply enumerating studies after studies without doing some analysis about them. In my experience as a research teacher, ang napansin kong style ng mga students sa pagsusulat ng RRL nila ay yung bawat paragraph ay tungkol lamang sa iisang research. So, for example, kung may nakuha silang isang study that somehow talks about one aspect of their research, so yun yung makikita mo sa isang paragraph. Then, you move to another paragraph, another study na naman ito. So, kumbaga yung bawat paragraph ng kanilang RRL ay simply a litany of results. So, parang repetition lang ng kung ano yung naisulat ng mga previous researchers about those research. So, they simply lifted the findings of previous researchers and put them in their RRL. Hindi dapat ganito. For example, you are doing a research on school bullying among college students and you found these research articles similar to your study. Halimbawa, sa study 1, ang finding or ang main result niya ay college students are more likely to resort to cyberbullying rather than traditional bullying. Sa study 2 naman, ang nakita mong main result is college students tend to use social media more to bully their victims rather than traditional bullying. Sa study 3 naman, ang nakita mong main result is very few college students use SMS or emails to harass their victims. The majority prefer the use of Facebook or Twitter. So kung nakikita mo, may mga arrows akong nilagay kasi si study 1 and study 2 are somehow similar. Similar in the sense na parehong nagsasabi na ang college students ay more likely to use technology to bully or harass their victims rather than traditional bullying. Kapag sinabi natin traditional bullying, ito yung mga physical bullying, yung mga verbal bullying na ginagawa ng isang tao ng directly sa kanyang victim, no? Face to face to, kumbaga. So si study 2 and study 3 naman are somehow related in the sense na sinasabi ng dalawang study or dalawang studies na to na social media yung kadalasang ginagamit in bullying others. So pwede mo itong makombine. You can say college students use technology more to harass their victims rather than resort to traditional bullying. So dahil si study 1 and study 2 ang nagsabi nito, so isusulat mo rito Peterson 2020 and Smith 2019. So dahil may dalawa kang studies to talk about this, sa APA standard or sa APA way of writing a parenthetical citation, naka ano siya according to alphabetical order. So P kay Peterson, siya mauuna dahil nauna siya sa alphabet. And then, their most preferred way is through the use of social media. So nakita mo naman si study 2 and study 3 ay parehong nagsabi nito. So, i-quote mo din si Peterson tsaka si Reyes sa iyong parenthetical citation. And then, binigay mo yung specific na social media such as Facebook or Twitter. So, ilalagay mo ngayon yung author na si Reyes lang kasi siya lang yung nagsabi ng specific social media na ginagamit usually ng college students in bullying others. So kung nakita mo yung ano dito, yung sample ko and how you write your RRL, kino-combine yung similar studies. So hindi yung bawat paragraph ay tungkol sa studies na nakita mo. Halimbawa, sa study 1, isang paragraph, sa study 2, another paragraph, sa study 3, another paragraph. Hindi ganon. Kasi kailangan sa review of related literature na ipakita mo na ginawan mo naman ng analysis or ginawan mo naman ng synthesis. So, yun. A good review of related literature organize paragraphs or studies according to how they relate to your research problems. Do not put all your ideas or discussions about studies you found in one long paragraph. It's boring and it will not encourage your readers to read them unless they are told to do so. Grouping studies according to your research problems will make your life easier later on when you look for related research to help explain your results. So, ito yung nasa discussion part ng research mo. So, kailangan kasi yung studies na nabanggit sa RRL or Review of Related Literature ay magamit mo sa discussion. Kaya kasi nandyan sila sa RRL mo dahil may role sila later on sa discussion section ng study mo. So, they would help you out in explaining your result. So, kung na-organize mo sila according to your research problems, mas mabilis ang discussion mo kasi pupuntahan mo lang yung section na yon that talks about a certain aspect of your research problem or problems. So, well-guided ka. Hindi yung kailangan mo pang basahin yung lahat ng long paragraph bago mo makita yung hinahanap mong research that would help you in discussing your result. Take this as an example. Halimbawa, ito yung mga research problems mo kasi gusto mong gumawa ng isang pag-aaral about school bullying at yung target respondents mo are college students. So number one research problem, what is the prevalence rate of school bullying among college students? How do college students bully their victim? Is there a significant relationship between gender and bullying behavior? So, tingnan mo ha, ito yung mga specific na research problems. So, bawat problem na to ay may specific theme. So, sa una, prevalence rate. Sa pangalawa, types of bullying behavior. Sa pangatlo naman, gender and bullying behavior. So, tandaan mo siya. Tatlong um, aspeto lang sa school bullying ang dapat mong hanapin when you're looking for your related literature. Una, one that would talks about your prevalence rate or one that talks about prevalence rate of school bullying among college students. So, isa yon. Pangalawa, types of bullying behavior na ginagawa ng mga nasa kolehiyo na estudyante. So, yung pangatlo, kailangan mong maghanap ng studies that talks about gender and bullying behavior. So, tatlo. Wag mo nang i-include yung ibang research na hindi directly related sa research problem mo. So, pwede ka naman siguro, like for example, you want to include definitions of school bullying. So, probably, pwede, kasi conceptual conceptual literature. Gusto mong matutunan ng readers mo more about how college students define school bullying. So, pwede siguro, pero in moderation. Huwag mag-focus doon. Kasi yung main focus mo ay yung theme na nasa research problems mo. Gaya nga ng nabanggit ko sa previous slide, no, yung sample research problems natin talks about prevalence rate of school bullying among college students, types of bullying behavior done by college students to their victims, and relationship of gender and bullying behavior. So, you can have the following subheadings in your RRL. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, hindi maganda na you put them in one long paragraph na walang subheadings. So, kailangan lagyan mo ng subheading para kung titingnan ng guro mo ang gawa mo, ang section na to, at least makita ng professor mo right away or ng teacher mo na you have search for literature in line with your research problems. Or sa mga future researchers na nagnanais na mag-study nito, at least makita nila sa RRL mo na ay may binanggit yung author na to about these studies. So, tingnan ko nga kung pwede ko rin magamit yung studies na yon in my own research. So, kumbaga, organized to Kapag ginanito mo yung style of presenting your review of related literature na may subheadings, madaling makita. At ikaw din, kapag nagsusulat ka ng discussion part of your research, you can easily go back to the subheadings. Ay, ito pala yung sa prevalence rate. So, doon ka lang magko-concentrate. Hindi mo na kailangan basahin yung entire RRL para makita mo yung kung ano yung sinasabi ng previous researchers about the prevalence rate of school bullying among college students. Or kung halimbawa, types of bullying that college students use. Dahil nandun na sa subheading mo, madali mo siyang puntahan or madali mo siyang makita. Right? So, yun yung sa organizing your research or rather your RRL according to your research problem. A good review of related literature includes your own argument as a researcher to synthesize or in the analysis of the related studies. You're not simply going to relay the findings of others to your readers. You also need to show why they are included in your RRL in the first place. Ang ginagawa kasi ng karamihang beginners in research, basta na lang nilalagay yung related literature doon, yung previous studies, and then they talk about those previous studies, parang nililift lang yung findings na binanggit ng previous writers or previous researchers sa kanilang article, tapos ilalagay doon sa kanilang RRL. Makikita mo pa nga, in my experience to nakikita ko na yung ibang estudyante ay mahilig pang gumamit ng direct quote, kumbaga word for word copied from findings of previous researchers. So, although yung word for word copy or yung direct quote from previous research is acceptable din, pero kung yun palagi ang way mo of presenting your related literature, hindi rin maganda. Kasi ibig sabihin, hindi ka man lang nag-exert ng effort to synthesize or intindihin kung ano ang ibig sabihin or ano ang findings na yon. Hindi mo man lang siya na-paraphrase. So, kailangan ding pakita sa readers mo that you have somehow exerted an effort to synthesize or to analyze the related studies that you have found. Pasensya na medyo wordy ang part na to, ang slide na to. So, let's take this as an example. So, meron kong study 1, study 2, study 3. Lagi akong lilimit lang to 3 studies kasi medyo wordy yung kada slide kung mas more sa 3 studies yung example natin. So, for example, your study 1, you have found this. About 3.1% of college students who participated in the study had experienced being a bully and being bullied in the last 6 months. So ito yung nakuha mo kay Lee, 2019. Sa study 2 naman, about 20% of senior high school students, respondents, and less than 10% of the college participants admitted to bullying others in the last 2 months. Ito naman kay Anderson and Riley. Sa study 3 naman, more than half or 58% of junior high school students, about a third of senior high school students, and 9% of college students or college student participants have experienced being bullied or bullying others in the last 3 months. So ito naman yung nakuha mo kay Santos and Ramirez, 2021. So instead of having a paragraph for each of these related literature in your RRL, you can say, ito, yung first sentence mo rito, your own idea or your own argument. So, nakita mo na parang, age may be a factor in the prevalence rate. So, nakita mo kasi yung college students are more likely na kaunti lang yung experience or kaunti lang sa kanila ang may experience of bullying or being bullied. So, sasabihin mo in your first line sa RRL mo, to synthesize this research or these studies that you have found, sasabihin mo, age may be a factor in the prevalence rate of bullying among young people. As shown in studies, so lalagay mo ngayon yung kay Anderson and Riley, as shown in studies, tapos lalagay mo sa parenthetical citation yung kay Anderson and Riley, tapos kay Santos and Ramirez, kasi both of these studies discuss prevalence rate na nagpapakita na parang the older the student, the more likely na hindi na sila mag-i-engage sa bullying. So, lalagay mo siya. As individuals age, their bullying behavior also decreases. In fact, many studies have pointed out that the prevalence rate of bullying among college students is less than 10%. So, kung nakikita mo, less than 10% kasi yung sa study 2, less than 10%, sa study 1, 3.1%, tapos sa study 3 naman ay 9%. So, all in all, nakita natin na yung bullying behavior sa college students lesser than 10%. So, lahat ng authors na nandito sa study 1, 2, and 3, kailangan mong i-quote. So, ayan, nakita natin sa parenthetical citation na na-include yung lahat ng authors. As compared to double figures in younger students, ito naman compared to double figures in younger students, nakita mo na si Santos and Ramirez tsaka si Anderson and Riley lang ang nagsabi nito. So, sila lang ang dapat may quote rito. So, just to do a recap, you can say age may be a factor in the prevalence rate of bullying among young people as shown in studies by Anderson and Riley and Santos and Ramirez. As individuals age, their bullying behavior also decreases. In fact, many studies have pointed out that the prevalence rate of bullying among college students is less than 10%. And then another parenthetical citation, as compared to double figures in younger students. So yun. These are the things that you need to remember when you are writing your RRL. When you use these expressions, studies have shown, so nabanggit mo studies, or many studies, or several studies have, make sure that you include parenthetical citations of those studies, or else you will be accused of proof surrogate. Pag sinabi nating proof surrogate, this is illogical fallacy that claims you have proof when in fact you have none. So kailangan pag na-mention mo studies have shown, kailangan more than one study kasi in plural form yung binanggit mo. So studies have shown that college students are more likely to bully their victims through social media. So kailangan ka magbanggit ng at least 2 studies. Pag sinabi mo namang many studies, syempre hindi lang dalawa ang babanggitin mo. So, kailangan mong ipakita din sa readers na many studies ngayon. The same thing with several studies. So, kung dalawa lang yung studies na nabanggit mo, then do not say many studies or several studies. Kailangan pag sinabi mong several, at least marami kang nabanggit na studies sa parenthetical citation mo. At yung pag-organize ng authors mo sa parenthetical citation ay according to alphabetical order. So, yon. According to APA standard yan. Ha? You need to remember that when you're writing your RRL, you also need to consult with your professor or the teacher handling the subject kasi baka kailangan yung theoretical at yung conceptual framework ay included sa RRL section. You have to remember that this is not true for all kasi yung theoretical at yung conceptual framework ay po pwedeng makita sa chapter 1 or introduction or sa chapter 2 RRL section. Mainam na you ask your teacher or professor for this just to be sure. Mas mahalaga yung sigurado ka sa sinusulat mo kaysa sa later on na grade down ka or mababa yung score mo sa RRL mo kasi may hindi ka na-include na section na dapat palang included. So, dapat mong tanungin ang guro tungkol dito. Wala kasing walang universal rule tungkol sa kung saan ilalagay yung theoretical and conceptual framework. Depende sa research field. At depende rin sa preference ng university or preference ng guro na nag-handle ng research. If you like this video and you find it useful, hit the like button and share with your friends and or classmates. Subscribe if you want to know more about research and related topics. Sa uulitin, maraming salamat sa panonood at sa pakikinig sa lesson na to. Naway may napulot kayong lesson sa vlog na to and I do hope that we will see one another again in my future vlogs. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye.